All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Multiverse Show, episode 145, greatest show on Mondays. We are running late, but we don't really care. So let's get everything started. First off, we got our introductions. We got the Baron of Britain, Caesar Cinema, Mr. James Wilson.
He give with one hand and the other he taketh away. I am back to, let's just be honest, to ruin all of your guys' days.
All right, and we have the one true king of the North, the chief of achievements, Mr. Nicholas Downey, a.k.a. Undead 3XVI.
I'm here just to take the ever bloody piss out of Sam the whole episode.
Man, I'm feeling all this energy in Sam tonight. All right, and we got the White Wolf himself, Mr. Samuel Tolbert.
Fortunately, the White Wolf brings his own energy, and more than enough to deal with this bunch of chicanery. This is going to be a good episode. I'm glad Cade is with us. Let's get this show on the road.
Yep, and we have our special guest for the evening, Mr. Cade Onder. How are you doing, sir?
I apologize for making you all very late. I am fashionably late. I'm usually very early when it comes to things like this, but today I was like, you know what? I'm going to make everyone wait. You know,
Were the chicken tendies taking a while to warm up?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Fair enough.
Oh, no, I thought it was because he was too busy shaking his chocolate milk as opposed to stirring.
Stirring. I get it. I have childish food tendencies, but you know what? Maybe I just like quality food. Is that too much?
I mean, Cade, here's the thing. They can laugh and mock, but I was telling them, A, there is nothing like chocolate milk after a workout. I'm sorry. It's the best thing in the world. And B, I'm actually drinking chocolate milk right now. So,
That a boy.
There you go.
That a boy.
Gotta go big and strong.
I like to hear.
Chocolate milk is what they call me at the gym.
So, as you guys have noticed, Mike and David are not here tonight, namely because they were both afraid that the other person's team was going to lose. So Mike, as you guys know, is a big Patriots fan, and David is a big Cowboys fan. So they had a game last night. So they both secretly told me, it's like, I'm not gonna show up tomorrow, just in case my team loses. So prove me wrong, David. I know you're in the chat somewhere.
What was the score and what was the sport?
It's football.
American football.
Oh, hand egg. Cool.
Hand egg.
Every time.
Hand egg, is that what you called it?
Excuse me, is it a ball? No. Do you
It's
kick
not.
it? Very rarely.
All right, so we got a few things to do today. Lots of cool topics. But as we ask every single week, what have you guys been playing? Cade, what have you been playing,
games.
sir? Cade, what have you been playing, sir?
I have been playing a mixture of things. Shenmue 3 and Star Wars. Which one would you like to hear about more?
Both?
Tell me about the sailors.
Sailors? Look, I'm just gonna say it. Shenmue 3 is fucking terrible. Like, I've never played a game that's so mind-numbingly bad. I like Shenmue 1 and 2, but holy shit, this game tests my patience like nothing ever before. My biggest grievance is, like, it just, like, wants to inconvenience you. It knows it's inconveniencing you. It's not, like, oversights or anything. It's just trying to piss you off. Like, you have a health bar and stuff in the game, and it just drains when you're standing still or when you're walking. It just drains. So you're just constantly dying. It's like you have HIV or something and just can't. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so stupid. And so you'll walk into, like, talk to someone.
First, ladies and gentlemen, Shenmue 3, the HIV of games.
It is. So, like, I had to go talk to this guy and get some information from him, and he was just a regular guy. And then he's like, to get my information, you need to fight me. And I'm like, okay, it's weird, but sure, it's a video game. Whatever, things happen. And I started to fight, and then I was like, oh my god, I have, like, half of my health, because Ryu he breathes like cancer. Like, I don't know. Like, he can't fathom being awake without dying. and you just constantly have to be eating food, otherwise you're drained, your health just drains. And so then I have to go spend all my money at the shop on peaches and pears and whatnot, and then I eat it all, and then he starts losing his health again right away, and then it's like, all right, now we need you to go to the dojo, because you can't fight that guy because he's too strong, so you need to go to the dojo, you need to train. And it's not like a scripted sequence, you just have to train until your bars build up enough, and you're just punching dolls. Then you can sometimes fight actual other people, and you fight them, and then you lose health doing that, so then you gotta go buy more fucking pears. It's just, it's a constant hassle, and I know some people really don't care about Shenmue, but, people are like, oh, it's so dated. I'm like, yeah, this game is so dated that it's doing things I've never seen a video game do in my entire life. It's just stupid.
Yeah. No,
I hate Shenmue.
I know somewhere right now, Cognito is just having a medium heart attack. He's just
you know what the best thing was too? Like, I picked up Control on a Black Friday deal, and I had like $35 left in like Xbox currency, and it's like, hey, you can get Shenmue 3, and I was like, is it really as bad as they say it is? And now I'm just like, fuck, no, I'm not doing it.
And this is kind of part of the Shenmue charm. It's not. I'm not going to criticize it for this because it's just that's Shenmue. But like, you'll say something to a character, and then they'll respond like in the vein of like what a proper response would be, but like they're not saying the right sentence. Like, I can't even give an example. There's something that stood out to me at the start of the game that just made me like laugh. I just couldn't believe, like, it's like a weird translation error or something. But what you were saying was like, Shenmue 3, it's discounted already on Black Friday. I think it might just be at Best Buy. I don't know if it's at other retailers.
Yeah.
Buddy, that was very intentional, and that they've known for a while, and they were planning to do that for quite a while. And this isn't like for fun. They're doing it because they have to.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the people who got suckered into kickstarting it. Like,
I think that's part of the problem. Like, that's why someone said it to me on Twitter. Like, you're trying to make a sequel to one of the most ambitious games ever on a very, very small budget. Like, you're not going to match that ambition in a modern day world. And it doesn't need to be Grand Theft Auto or anything like super large scale, but do we know what the number was? Like, it was like 8 million or something. Am I right about that?
I know it broke all the base Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah.
I know it met its goal. It had a few. I think it got like a third through the stretch goals.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know. I know some people kind of like it, but I think people who were just like not diehard fans of Shenmue, but were like, yeah, I'd play another one, are just going to hate this game because it tests your patience in a way that is so needless, and I struggle to play it. So and I have to review it.
I get the kind of vibe from you that it's kind of like a worse version of Outer Worlds, where there's an audience for people who want this dated type of game.
Yeah.
And where Outer Worlds did it good, but you could still it still feels dated. This one is just 20 years old.
Yeah. It doesn't push the wheel forward, and it might even take it more backwards than it was before. Like, I didn't feel this kind of annoyance playing the first two games, and I played them, when the re-releases came out like a couple years ago. So like, I didn't, I could definitely know it was dated, but I was like, this is still fun. I still enjoy this. But now it's just like you're driving a fork into my eyeball and telling me you need to keep pushing forward, and I'm just like, I don't want to.
Sure.
I don't want to.
Well, and they're basically now, I feel like with how much the franchise rebounded, Shenmue's kind of forgotten, so to speak.
And the word on the street is that Yu Suzuki, he wants to do more of these. And
So this wasn't the this is the final chapter.
Yeah, it's
wrap
not a
it all
trilogy
up.
from. Yeah, it's. I mean, I haven't finished, so I don't know like how conclusive of an ending it could be if they didn't do more. But like, he's very determined to want to do a fourth game, and by all accounts, I don't think this game's going to sell well, and I think there was so much of a headache making the game, and there's so many different factors. I don't know if a fourth game is going to get made unless they do another Kickstarter, but I'm not sure what the hardcore fan reaction is on this one, but I can't imagine everyone's going to be like, yeah, I'll do that again,
Yeah. All right. Real quick, James, what you been playing, sir?
Nope.
All right, nothing. All right, good. Man.
I mean,
nice and
nothing
simple.
new. I'm still playing through Bloodborne again. Oh, actually, no. I did a thing I've never been able to do ever before. So I'm also playing through Final Fantasy X. Because I'm always playing through that game because I love it. I love it to death. I finally am trying to do a 100% run, which means the Dark Aeons and all of this extra stuff, which is just super high level and takes loads of grinding and really, really dedication. And I finally got the Dark Aeon Anima, which for people who've played Final Fantasy X know how big a deal that is. So, like, from a child who started playing this game when it came out, it's like the first big RPG, this big enemy who I never was able to beat, I finally now have and can control. It's been a weirdly big gaming moment for me. So yeah, that's what I've been doing for gaming this week. And I nearly bought Fallen Order, but then I couldn't afford it, so I didn't.
All right. And Sam?
What have I not been playing? I've been playing a bit of Death Stranding, a bit of The Outer Worlds. Let's see here. I finished We Happy Few's final DLC for a review, which will be up on Windows Central hopefully tomorrow. If not, then Wednesday at the latest. # shameless plug. And then, let's see, I've also been playing Jedi Fallen Order, which is absolutely fantastic. If it wasn't just a tiny bit rough around the edges, it would be in my Game of the Year conversation. I absolutely love that game. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of stuff. Oh, and I've been playing Pokemon Sword, which is my first ever Pokemon game.
Oh, wow.
Never played a Pokemon game that I actually owned before. I'm not counting a couple of hours at a friend's house on their DS or whatever. So yeah, I've been having fun with that.
All right. And Nick, what you been playing, sir?
A lot of Death Stranding, little bit of Gris on PlayStation 4. That comes out tomorrow. I have a review for that up in the next day or two. And, of course, as you know, Rainbow Six Siege.
All right. And, yeah, I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege. Oh, boy. The itch caught on yesterday. I was like, whew. Oh, boy. I really got it back into it, and it's been a blast. Also been playing Jedi Fallen Order. Really enjoyed it. It has, I think we've talked about this before. Just it's got like some Dark Souls elements to it, but what it doesn't take, it makes up for with Uncharted and Tomb Raider. So we've talked about this in the past. You can go check out our older episodes about Fallen Order in particular, and you guys can find out a little more about that. Anyway, so we got to do a little quick. We got to pay the bills here. Time for our corporate shill Sam segment. Sam, who's
Yes.
paying the bills this week?
We are very shameless with how we shill ourselves out for our corporate sponsors. And this week, as we all gather in fellowship and meaningful, what's the meaning of Thanksgiving, really? Is it about having the best turkey? Is it about the best cranberry sauce? Is it about remembering what your family is supposed to stand with each other for? Is it about gritting your teeth and not screaming at your racist uncle when he starts on his new rants for the 50th time that day? No, it's about sweet potato casserole. Why is it about sweet potato casserole? Because that's who we're sponsored by. That's why. Just look at those crispy, golden white, fluffy marshmallows baked to perfection over rich, cinnamon-laden sweet potato. That's what it's all about.
I love it.
Sweet potato casserole's trash.
Whoa, man! Whoa!
I've
Sweet-
never
You
had
can't say that in front of the sponsor.
Yeah, we're gonna get demonetized. No, but the thing. Let's be real.
That'll do it. But Shenmue 3 is the HIV of games. Is just fine.
Yeah.
They demonetize us for speaking against sponsors, not for
Thank
speaking
you
facts.
so much for quoting me on Twitter for that. That's good. I'm trying to get work as a writer, you dick.
Yeah, you could have quoted it to me. I probably would have been a.
I was like, I wonder who to pick. But let's be real for a moment. Sweet potato casserole was that perfect bridge between dessert and regular and meal, so it's right between the middle. Anyway, James, sorry. Hey, maybe you might get noticed now. Like, he's right. Let's give him a job. So, okay.
Ooh, hot take. He doesn't like a game that other people don't like. I haven't even played it. That's the worst thing about this.
No, it's not. Now you're just like 98% of the people
Yeah.
that scream at me in my DMs.
That's fair enough. Yeah. Oh god, there's a guy at my work. Just a quick little tangent. Did anyone see the Hellboy film this year?
Yeah, sadly.
Okay, so like,
Yes.
I didn't watch it because I couldn't be bothered. I'm just not a big Hellboy fan, so I just couldn't be bothered to watch it. And there's other guy who heard someone else talk about it and said they didn't like it. So now his position is that it's the worst film of the year, and he has not seen this film. And I keep explaining to him, going, no, you can't say that unless you actually see the film. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing is, I don't really... The only reason I didn't go see it is because I cannot remember the guy's name. The guy who plays Hellboy this time just looks too weird.
David Harbour.
He just looks way too weird.
Yeah.
It's really hard going from Ron Perlman to him. It's just really
It's alright. You're never going to see him play Hellboy again.
I know.
Anyway, sorry. Quick little tangent. Just I'm calling that dude out. I can't stand people who
Say
don't
his
see
name, give
things
him
and
his
then complain
address.
about them. Anyway, movie corner. I've seen 2 movies this time, which is 2 more than I did last time. I have seen Frozen 2. It is bad.
Oh no.
Oh no!
You know
Don't
what?
say
You know
that. There might be someone with a machete.
Yeah.
I couldn't
We'll
believe
get-
that. I was like,
James.
really?
We'll get onto that.
James, just let it go.
Oh,
I like the first one. I like the first Frozen. I think it's okay. And what those songs do really well in those first one is tell the story that at the exact appropriate moment, and it does fun character things, but it does them interspersed with actual plot. Frozen 2, and my main problem with it is the songs. If you listen to the songs, you'll think, oh, that's fine, it's just like a normal musical, they sound fine. And you'd be right in thinking that. My problem with it is from a visual point of view. So you guys remember how Let It Go, like the music video for that came out before the first Frozen, and that was like a big deal. And it was amazing, and you could see all these great visuals because Elsa has magical powers. And it worked really well as a standalone piece of music, as well as in the context of Frozen. What they've done with Frozen 2, all of the songs, apart from like 1 or 2, are all animated and designed to be this music video kind of thing. And so whenever a song happens, it really takes you out of what's going on in the film. Or at least it did for me, and I couldn't engage with the story on any level when anyone was singing. And in a musical, that is a death sentence.
Yeah.
And there are people who are going in and liking the film, and you know what? More power to them. I'm really happy that they're enjoying it. I just couldn't enjoy it. And also, I really like Evan Rachel Wood, the actress. She plays Dolores in Westworld, for most people who know her.
Oh.
And she's in this film, and she's barely in it. And she was really heavily publicized to be in this film. And she's just barely in it. And that's just annoying for me.
What's the
Frozen 2
movie about?
really didn't satisfy me, and I left. Ironically, I left cold. There you go. There's the pun. Frozen left me cold. There we go. That is a cheap shot that I bet every writer's used. The other film I saw, which is much better, is Le Mans '66, known in America as Ford versus Ferrari. Has anyone else seen it?
I have
Yeah.
not seen it yet. I am
No,
going
I
to
have
see
not.
You guys gotta see this movie.
Big recommend. Even if you don't like, I am a big fan of motor racing. I don't watch it every week. I don't watch F1. I don't watch NASCAR because that's just turning left for a day. I'm taking the pick. NASCAR is very difficult, but it is just turning left. For those of you who don't know, the Le Mans race is a 24-hour endurance race. It's considered to be the most difficult motorsports race in the world, single race. And in the 60s, it was considered to be the biggest race of anything. And Ferrari had dominated the scene for nigh on a decade. And Ford thought, we're going to take it to them. We're going to buy Ferrari, and then we're going to win Le Mans. What they didn't know is that they were a bargaining chip in Ferrari trying to get Fiat to raise their price and buy them. So Ford's response is, all right, we're going to beat Ferrari with a car that we're going to build in 90 days. That is the setup for the entire movie. And this is way more than just people talking about cars, people talking about racing, and racing means to them. This dips into a very, very American sense of we can do it because we can. And because it's set in the 60s of that great time of Americans just going, let's just do it because it's, why do we go to the moon? Because we can. Why did someone climb this mountain? Because it was there. Why did we win Le Mans? Because we wanted to. It's just quite uplifting to see a film do that, and to have it be a real story, and to have actors who are great. Christian Bale puts in a fantastic performance. Not going to win any awards, but just another great Christian Bale performance. For those who liked A Quiet Place, the son in that, Noah Jupe, is in this. He's equally as worried all the time. But he's also
a very worried face all the time.
He's a very worried child, but he does it very well. Yeah, a big fan of Le Mans 66, Ford vs Ferrari, whatever it's called, wherever it is. I've reviewed it before on the show, but Knives Out is coming out everywhere this week.
Yes.
I can't recommend that film enough. For me, that is my film of the year right now.
Yeah, I'm taking my mom and probably the rest of my family to see it on Saturday night.
This is a film. Well, Knives Out is a film that you can take anyone to. Anyone who enjoys a good mystery. It's a 12A over here, which I imagine will be a PG-13.
It is
in America, and that's the exact rating that it deserves. But it's not dialed down. Chris Evans in this film has cemented himself as the best Chris.
Yep, out of Hemsworth, Pine, and oh, that reminds me, movie news. Chris Pine is back, therefore Star Trek 4 is back on. So.
Yeah, do you think that movie's gonna happen, or is that just
it will happen?
So long that
it will happen.
Is this the Quentin Tarantino Star Wars movie?
No,
I don't know. No, Star Trek. Yeah, but no.
Star Trek, sorry, my apologies.
So no Quentin Tarantino involved. For what I have on here, Chris Pine said he's back, so they're starting the project back up. But the new Star Trek movie will definitely happen because Viacom and Paramount are back. Viacom and CBS are back now, which means they're all back together. There's a very long history there, and it's very confusing about who had the rights over Star Trek. You guys can go check out a YouTube channel called Midnight's Edge. They have a very long, 30 to 45 minute just video about explaining it, like who had the rights to what of Star Trek, and then what happened with CBS All Access and all the rest of it. It's very confusing. I do not have time. Because normally here I'll try to explain things to you guys. I can't do it with this. It's way too confusing.
Didn't Star Trek Beyond, the last one, didn't it kind of bomb financially? Like it wasn't. No one
did not do well. Did not do well. But it didn't
wasn't
bomb.
A bomb, but it definitely
sure.
Yeah, the thing was there was a lot of problems because Anton Yelchin just died. And there was that negative aspect of it on top of it.
They had two writing teams who quit, and so Simon Pegg was asked to write at the last minute. And so production was delayed by 2 to 3 months on building things.
But it's my favorite
movie, right?
It's my favorite of the new Star Trek movies.
I haven't seen it, but
it's a fun kind of. It's very action-adventure-y, but
I'll say this. I'll say this, Cade. It feels, and I mean this in a good way, like one of the old episodes of the original series. Except it's been turned into a movie and given like a multi-million-dollar budget.
It definitely it feels very much like that, but it doesn't. It's not trying to nostalgia milk.
Right, that's the difference. It just feels like a natural episode. It's not preying on your nostalgia. It has that sense of adventure, which is cool.
I want to make sure we have enough time for all the topics, but I have to talk about a very, very important piece of news.
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is you probably all know this. There is a film called Blue Story that is out in the UK. It's a very big deal. It's doing very, very well right now. It was recently pulled by View Cinemas, one of the 3 big movie chains in the UK, due to some weird circumstances that didn't really involve the film. It has now been reinstated by View, which is good for freedom of speech, and censorship is not good. What happened was, in the queue for a film in Birmingham, a brawl with machetes broke out.
We were all busy focusing on Joker. We didn't focus on the true evil right in front of us.
Society strikes again.
They were queuing for Frozen 2.
This was Joker's master plan. Honestly, if you think about it.
It was all.
Well, you mean it was Joker's trick.
Yeah.
That was the final joke. That's what was so funny.
He finally got us.
Let it go.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I was prepared to come into this and have a big rant about how View are terrible for pulling this film that had nothing to do with this just because it involved black people. Like, I thought that was insulting and racist, frankly. But they have reinstated the film and apologized publicly, so that's good.
Okay.
And that happened about half an hour before we went live.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
All right, so we got 2 topics, 2 gaming-related topics for you guys tonight, because we got a few things I want to cover. I want to skip the first topic right now. I want to come back to that in a minute, because our buddy Nick has posted an article over on lordsofgaming.net about Battleborn. Sir, what has happened today with Battleborn, Nick?
Well, surprisingly, like all things Gearbox that isn't Borderlands, Battleborn has reached its unfortunate demise. So today, 2K announced that they're going to be pulling Battleborn off of digital distribution. You won't be able to purchase the game unless you can find a physical copy, which if your GameStop's anything like mine, it's got about 50 physical copies of Battleborn for about $3.99 right now.
Canadian. That means even cheaper here.
Yeah, for you guys, it's like throw a quarter at your GameStop employee, you own a copy of Battleborn. So the game's English. The game has been pulled off digital storefronts. However, premium currency is still purchasable all the way up until February 24th, 2020. And then servers will go offline officially January 2021. And you will not be able to play Battleborn in any way, whether the single-player campaign or the co-op or any form of the game. So Battleborn will cease to exist in January 2021.
Question: did they ever make it free to play officially?
That would require me paying attention to Battleborn post-launch.
Does anybody, without looking up, does anybody actually know if they did it?
Sorry, you broke up for me. If they did what?
Do they know if they actually went free to play?
They did, but that has also been pulled.
Oh. Be like this would be the opportunity of like, okay, we got 1 year, like let's just go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Let's make it free to play. Let's do do premium currency drops for free. Like just go balls to the wall, let it go out with a bang, and maybe it would turn around. Maybe.
My question is, who has been playing this game for this time? I want to know actual
I know
numbers.
one of the 6 people who's been pulled.
Wait, there's 6?
There might be. I don't know.
Oh, I think
There's more people playing Fallout 76. It can't be.
Hold on, a quick Google search.
Yeah.
I do know someone who.
I bet in the
pretty
time frame you could find out who's playing it and where they live.
All right, hold on. Okay, Battleborn on the Steam charts. This is PC only. Its all-time peak was 12,000 players. Its past 24 its past 24-hour peak is 16.
Going strong. You love to see it.
The game has not hit peak players into triple digits since November 2017.
Holy
Holy
shit.
crap! As I hit triple
Remember,
digits
this is the same. This is the same game that Borderlands 3 was delayed for and caused Randy Pitchford to infamously say, "Borderlands? Yeah, I'm pretty bored of that too."
Really?
Oh, yeah, he said that.
Yikes.
So, actually, it's interesting to note, on the announcement of them shutting down the servers, they had a 15% player gain, which actually equals out to one person.
Yes. Someone was like, I have to get on this. I can't let this go on any longer. I can't wait.
No.
Amazing.
And for whatever reason, this makes me think of a Blackadder sketch. I think it's like the episode 1 of season 2. No, season 3. It's season 3. Whatever they talk about, they have to go vote. And this says like the voter turnout is in. It's like, oh, the polls just closed. The voter turnout's in. A dachshund, like a chicken, and like 2 people voted.
Yeah. So yeah, in the last 30 days, the average player count for Battleborn on Steam is 11.6 people. So to give that context, I think. Hold on, let me just check.
Run the numbers over there.
So we're calculating numbers here. It has the same amount of concurrent average player that Lawbreakers did, and Lawbreakers actually had more before they pulled the game offline.
Lawbreakers was a great game, and
Lawbreakers was fun. That was the ultimate pull for Cliffy B, in terms of like having to just accept, like, look, we made a mistake.
Like it's unfortunate because the game was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
He just made a miscalculation, thinking that a single player a multiplayer focused one on PlayStation would outperform a single player game that had indie appeal and all the media attention.
What did it go up against? I forget.
Hellblade.
No. It went up against Hellblade on the PlayStation Store. PUBG launched on PC the same week.
Nice.
And Overwatch did a special event.
Yeah.
On launch
No mercy.
day.
No mercy.
Yeah, Overwatch announced a special. That's when they kicked off, I think, one of the first summer events.
So Lucio Ball?
Man.
Yeah, Lucio Ball. They launched.
Was it 2016? Was it 2016?
Yeah, that would have been
that would have been the first Lucio Ball event. That would have been the first special event.
That's brutal. Little fun fact for you: Cade Onder has one of the limited editions of Lawbreakers, and those are rare. That was very cool. Yeah,
it's actually cool because there's 2 of us on this podcast that have one.
Really? Wow. Well. Nice. I still have the disc and everything. I mean, it probably doesn't do anything, but
I still got it on digital. Coaster. I still haven't uninstalled. You know, I don't know. I feel like that game was decent. It just did not have an opportunity to shine at all.
Yeah, that exclusivity just kind of didn't help it.
See, honestly, that would have been the time for it to, like, if he had made the decision for it to come to Xbox instead. Like, Xbox was dry. Like, they didn't have anything back then. Like, they would have jumped on board and said, I love this game, let's do it.
Totally agree. It was there were a lot of easy moves that could have been made that I don't know why they weren't made. I don't know if it was stubbornness or what. I mean, I think Cliffy B can be kind of a stubborn guy. He has a lot of pride, I think. I think he's swallowed that pride since then and just kind of owned up to everything.
He definitely owned his hubris later. Like, he definitely got his stuff together. Like,
which is respectable. But in that moment, it didn't. I mean, it's respectable, but also, like, you fucked up so hard that a lot of people lost their jobs. So, like, and I think a lot of those people were treated pretty well afterwards. Like, they got, like, severance packages and they all landed on their feet. But
he makes sure they're okay. Like, I mean, I live like an hour away from him. Like it's not.
Mhm.
It's not like it's not like they're hurting. Insomniac and Epic
Sure.
are right next door. Like it's
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it was like chaotic, but unfortunate.
yeah, it's sad, but like some things like were beyond his control. To be honest, like if you were back in 2016 and you had like, okay, we only have enough resources right now to put it on PC because we develop for PC, or we put it on PlayStation or Xbox, who do you pick? And I would have picked PlayStation 2, but there were some things he could not have anticipated.
Yeah.
But there were also some things he could have anticipated.
Yeah, definitely. I find it funny how this topic was about Battleborn and we're not talking about Battleborn.
Dude, I struggled for 30 minutes.
Yes, that's true.
I was struggling for 30 minutes trying to remember what the game was. Because I had mocked it for so much, I forgot what the real name of the game was.
I remember playing the beta of Battleborn, like, well before it had come out, and I remember just being like, who is this for? What is the appeal? I don't know what these characters are. Overwatch is likable characters and stuff that everyone can recognize and all these things. I'm like, I can't tell you who is who. I don't know why I'm liking or what there is to like. The gameplay just like, I almost didn't even know what to do. I'm like, okay, it's not like a traditional shooter or anything. I was just like, this game's fucked. Like, there's no way this works. And I was right. I mean, not to act like I was the only one saying that, but like, everyone saw the writing on the wall.
Nostradamus.
Yeah. I'm a prophet. What can I say?
Yeah. Anyway, that's another topic. So let's go into the main event for the evening. So we have something that came out last week. I don't know if you guys have heard this event. We always have our little counter event every year around the same week. It's the Game Awards, put on by some guy named Jeff Keighley.
Who?
I know, right? Who is this guy? I don't know. The only Game Awards that matter are the Multiverse Game Awards every year anyway. So yeah, that's the only one that matters, where it's a true and open, completely transparent process of who wins. And how political
reveals?
It gets.
You have reveals?
Yeah, we have reveals
We
of some
do,
sort.
but
Not the kind you want.
yeah, they're not the kind anyone asked for, but we do have reveals.
Hey,
I mean,
as
like,
long as
I
you
have,
get world premieres.
I have a reverse OnlyFans for Multiverse. It's basically you pay me to keep my clothes on.
Nice. I think that's a good business model.
I would like to say, even though when our Game of the Awards show happens, I have to say this now, that I'm actually in Jedi Fallen Order because I am every ginger person ever.
No, you're only Ed Sheeran to me, James.
Yep.
Frick. I get that.
I was waiting for an
I get
answer
that.
back from that when I posted it. It's like...
So right, he does look a lot like me.
Yeah.
This is a thing.
I thought it was one of your
and
personas.
He was in that film Yesterday that came out earlier this year. It was a big deal in the UK because of the Beatles, obviously. And because I work in a cinema, people see this film and then they come out. And then they see me, and then they're like, oh, wow, that's weird. And then they come up, and then they go, has anyone ever told you?
No. No one's ever said it.
So much like Ed Sheeran. And I can't do it anymore.
You should have done like a little reversal on him. You know how that movie's about like people not knowing who the Beatles are? You should have been like, who's Ed Sheeran?
No, because then the conversation would go on longer.
That's
and I
true.
wanted them
Yeah,
to
you
go
don't
away.
want that.
Yeah,
Sorry for interjecting, but yeah.
No. So this year they're doing the Game Awards. This year there's some complications to the process. This particular year. Real quick, can we go over some of the highlights in terms of the nominees? Sam, do you have a way to pull it up for us?
Yes, I can. One second.
Just before you go to the full list, just a very important. I need to know: is Untitled Goose Game nominated for Game of the Year?
No.
Nope.
It's
Did it get
nominated
anything?
for best indie
Oh,
game.
yeah.
It's the best indie game.
Samuel, it's nominated as the best Subway Fresh indie game.
Oh,
Really?
excuse me. You're right.
Really?
You know
It's,
what?
No,
it's
it's not.
Is it sponsored by Subway? Please,
It
please,
is.
it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, that's true.
God. Now we need Gillette Razor Man. We need it.
Oh my god.
I need it. I need Gillette Man. Oh, the Shicked Razor. So it was
Hydro
it was
Man.
yeah, Shicked Razor Man, like Shicked Hydro Man. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
this is
I thought you were joking.
It's just like when Nathan Drake, had that huge Subway promo. It's just I hope Nolan North repels in eating like a fucking $5 foot long.
Please.
You mean $6 foot long, sir? There are no
Are they
$5
$6 now?
Yeah, it's been that way for a while.
Fuck them.
I know,
Hey,
right?
try
Literally,
the-
how screwed are you as a company that literally the only thing people remember about you in terms of an ad campaign is something from over 10 years ago?
And also, there is another thing we remember them for, but we try not to talk about that guy.
We're trying to talk about that.
Yo,
one.
it's kind of a touchy subject.
Oh boy.
But
Okay, so what highlights are you looking for? Because there's a lot of nominees
Just
by category.
the major ones. Action adventure game, game of the year.
Game of the Year is Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and The Outer Worlds. That's Game of the Year. Gears 5, Call of Duty, Devil May Cry 5, Metro, those are up for Best Action Game. Action Adventure is Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Let's see here. Art direction is Control, Death Stranding, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. You might be noticing a pattern by this point. Audio design is between Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Are you sensing a pattern yet, or do you need?
Were there other games this year?
Ostensibly, Cade.
Come on.
Yeah. The game of the year is Shenmue 3.
Fuck. It's the HIV game of the year, but I don't know.
No. It's a bold story of battling your foes with a. Okay, I can't even do this with a straight face without sounding like a terrible human being. I can't even.
I regret so much.
As you should.
I
As you
can't
should.
wait to. There's so few
So does
reviews
Yusuke.
of Shenmue 3, James. That quote is gonna end up on the box. Okay.
They don't have a choice. It's the best thing they got going for them.
Oh my god. I've seen a lot of people complain that Jedi isn't in this. I
Yeah.
think it just wasn't eligible, right? It just came out
Sam,
too late.
why don't you enlighten us for a bit?
Okay, all right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. Technically speaking, Jedi Fallen Order and Pokemon Sword/Shield were eligible. The cutoff date was the 15th, which would have put Pokemon slightly before and Jedi Fallen Order right on. Here's the problem. They were all outlets who take part in this were really, really, really encouraged to have their entries in by the 10th. They were told, hey, by the 10th, send this. It's via electronics, so we can do it a little later if need be, but try to do it by the 10th. As a result, it puts Jedi Fallen Order and Pokemon Sword/Shield in this awkward position where they are technically eligible, but only the people who are reviewing them would have played them, and even then, the people reviewing them may not have yet finished them. As a result, they're basically casualties of the cutoff date, where they didn't get a lot of nominations. Greg Miller, I'll give him a shout out on Kind of Funny, was actually very transparent about this, and he explained, quote, I could have done that. I could have nominated Jedi Fallen Order because I absolutely love what I played, but I haven't finished it, and it would feel dishonest to do so. So I didn't nominate it. End quote. So that's the story of what's going on there. And hold on, James, one more thing.
Yep.
I'm a little tired of seeing people say, oh, they'll be in next year, because no, they won't. Actually.
No.
They are casualties of this year. It sucks. Deal with it. But they won't be in next year.
It is interesting, though. I don't think I've ever seen a game outside of this year with Smash Brothers where a game released the year before, and granted, it released right
December.
before or right after the actual awards last year. So yeah, it's it's weird, right? Because it's a last year game, but like they're, you know what I'm saying? It's
no, it's very weird, and I have a problem with this, Cade. Like I said this on another podcast, I'll say it here. I understand that it's a great game, but at the end of the day, I have an ethical issue. This is me, myself, and I with a great game from another year bumping great games from this year. I mean, because as a result, you are saying you'd rather have Smash Bros up there than Gears 5, than Fire Emblem Three Houses, then Jedi Fallen Order, then Pokemon, then what was another one that came out this year? I'm thinking, Plague Tale. A Plague Tale Innocence. That's a dark horse for this year. So it's just I have an issue with that personally.
For sure, it's weird. Like I said, I can't think of another game or instance where that has happened.
It hasn't. It hasn't. It's a very weird situation.
No, it is weird, and I mean, I'm sure we'll get into this, but it brings up, questions of the ethics of Jeff Keighley's award show, because he has a big friendly relationship with Nintendo, and also they did reveals with Joker in Smash Brothers and stuff, and I don't think it goes that deep, right? But like, it's definitely like an eyebrow raise, like, hey, you're bumping this game from last year onto your list, but you also have kind of a connection, and then there's also Death Stranding, and
Yeah, I think the Death Stranding one is a little stronger, at least in terms if you want to talk about like maybe compromised. But I see what you're talking about, at least with the Nintendo one. I mean, the Nintendo thing was a situation where it was kind of understood, and it was understood why it was there, because it missed the cutoff date. Like, should it be included? Technically, yes. Probably no, but technically, yes. Do I think it should win Game of the Year? Yes, I think it should win Game of the Year, because it was an excellent game, and this will probably be the only time the Smash Bros. Series will ever be nominated for Game of the Year ever again. So and that's, and also too, I also want to watch all the Street Fighter and Evo people cry. Because if it wins Game of the Year, then people are just going to point out and say, did Street Fighter ever win Game of the Year? No. I guess it is a legitimate fighting game. So that's my Lord of Chaos side creeping through.
This is why all award ceremonies should be in the new year.
I agree. That's
the
Oscars.
It just makes all of this easier.
Yeah, but the problem is the only way he can financially do this award show is by having reveals here.
Yeah.
And if there's no point in doing reveals post-holiday season.
But
true.
But also, the Oscars doesn't have movie trailers in it, and it's the most important award ceremony.
True, but they also they're also not really worried about funding. So,
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if Jeff
Yeah,
doesn't get
true.
the funding, the show ain't happening. So,
Yeah, and so there's that in terms of the cutoff date. Like, it's an unfortunate reality. I don't like that cutoff date, but I understand why it exists, because
what I would do
has to do this.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, sir. No, after you,
I was-
sir.
I was just going to say as well, the other thing is I don't think Jeff gets enough credit in terms of the growth of the show. Because I like this about Jeff, is I don't know if people know this, the Game Awards are the most watched award show of the entire year. They have overtaken the Golden Globes, they've overtaken everything else out there, and not only that, they are the only award show that is on an upward trajectory, increasing viewership year over year. And I really do think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
And I think a lot of that is in part due to reveals. They're like, hey.
Of course.
Because there's people who don't even care about award shows who tune in just for the reveals.
Yeah, I mean, like, you also have to consider the Half-Life thing was planned for the Game Awards, and then I think their plans got changed when, it got leaked. So they were like, all right, fuck it, just do it now. The leak was like, there was a transcript from the teleprompter of them introducing the trailer and stuff at the show, and it was like, this looks legit. And so Half-Life, the new Half-Life game, a big thing was going to be at the show, and I'm sure that teaser image, that teaser tweet that they had when they were like, all right, we're revealing on Thursday, I'm sure that was going to be worded differently and be like, tune in to the Game Awards for the next chapter of Half-Life or whatever like that. So they have a lot of pull, and I think that's part of the reason why. And also, there's a lot of fuck-ups that happen at the Game Awards. Like,
I guarantee he would have said introducing Half-Life 3. Like, it just totally not paying attention.
there's that, and then what's his name? From A Way Out.
Yeah,
That's the Oscars. Like, you don't get that shit at other award shows. So, like, it's just people love it for the meme factor and the awards or the not necessarily the awards, but they're still interesting.
Yeah, I can appreciate a different take on awards. I might not necessarily agree with them, but I can appreciate that. It is what it is. I don't, in terms of, because I know this is an issue for some people, I legitimately don't think there's an issue. Like, Jeff is not voting on these awards. There's no ethical conundrum with him in Death Stranding and Kojima. The problem is, I'm sure, convincing people of that. And the optics of that.
I will say, because I was very vocal about this on Twitter about my issue with Kojima and Jeff Keighley, and I want to make it abundantly clear. I don't think Jeff would ever do anything to harm the integrity of the show. I've met the man. He's a great guy, and I do not believe he would do that. However,
he has built himself from the ground up, so I really don't think he'd jeopardize that.
The only thing is, and like Sam said, this is an optics problem, because specifically, you could say, he's been buddy with Xbox, and he is extremely buddy with Phil Spencer, and if you see them in person, you understand entirely. But he's buddy with everybody in the industry, so that's not like it's a big thing. The problem is on that show in particular. People have been exposed to one particular version of this, his relationship with Kojima. Just to give you an idea of the timeline, and please feel free to correct me because I'm almost always wrong in some regard. I'm normally right in the overall, but I'm wrong in some specifics. When the Game Awards got started, because it started in 2014, it was 2015 in particular, and that was the whole issue with Metal Gear Solid 5 where Kojima was not allowed to show up to that event because of his issue with Konami. Jeff made that public, and so that we all felt like that's good. We should know about this sort of thing. We should be quite aware of this issue. Then the next year, in 2016, where Kojima put out no product, Kojima gets an award for Icon, Industry Icon?
Yeah, Industry Icon, yep.
Which is like, okay, sure, but why this year? Like, why this year? Of all the years to do this, why this year for him? Like, why not this year, right now, in 2019? This would have been a good way to do it. Like, hey, this is a comeback. You just dropped a new game, brand new studio. Like, let's do it. Like, I could get that. That would make sense to me. But then the next year, they have a reveal for Death Stranding. But every year, like, he brings him on stage, it makes a big deal of it. And it's specifically for Kojima. I mean, he's even in Death Stranding. Like, there is a issue there in terms of, look, you have a really strong relationship with this person, and this game is now your Game of the Year contender by the vote. And yes, I don't think he's ever messed with the vote or anything. There are people saying it's not possible. I'm sorry. I think you guys are very naive. Things get altered all the time. Like, yes, people could vote for something else. However, who counts up the votes?
Did you, are you familiar with Nathan Fielder? Nathan For You?
Nathan For You? No. Not off the top of my head.
Okay. So he's a very funny guy. He had a show on Comedy Central called Nathan For You, where he would help struggling businesses in like the most absurd ways. I don't know if you remember Dumb Starbucks and stuff. Like, he was behind all that, and like, anyways. So there was a thing where he was trying, like, his show got nominated for an Emmy or something, and he was like, he brought some like tech guy in, and he was like, so hypothetically, if I wanted to, and he was playing it up like, I'm definitely going to do this. He's like, hypothetically, if I wanted to like flub the vote, how would I do it? And they showed exactly how you could do it. It's not a complicated thing. I mean, like, you have to have the right people to do it, but like, with enough determination, you could do it.
Well, I'm not even saying that. I mean, you just lie.
Yeah. There's so many there's so many factors. Like it's definitely not like it's also Video Game Awards, so like people will just be like, yeah, it's fucking weird, but then they tune in next year because they'll have a reveal for Halo 6 or whatever.
Yeah, keep this in context here.
Yeah.
People.
So that's my thing is I do not think you would ever do this. I really don't. But the people say that it's not possible.
It's possible.
It's very possible. Like literally, I could think of a way to do it. All you gotta do is you just say, okay, well, I think Death Stranding wins.
Yeah.
And what are they gonna do? Aren't there supposed to be like 80 people on the jury? All people are going to meet up and say, who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for? Who did you vote for? Who did you vote for?
Well, 80 outlets, not people.
Yeah,
but
80 outlets. But it's just like...
And, like, it's not like the Oscars, where they have, like, an outside agency who, like, does all the counting and stuff, and then, like, they handcuff it to a fucking guy, and then he walks around with that vote, like, it's super high security, like a nuclear bomb.
Which is funny.
Yeah, it's like it's over the top, but like they have.
Oops, we accidentally had the wrong card. Like the
Yeah,
Oscars.
I mean, we don't, that's the whole thing.
I was explaining this to Nick, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Cade, but I actually think forget Kojima and Jeff and their bromance. Heck yeah, go for their bromance. It's 2019. You guys love who you want. That they can do whatever. The issue for me, honestly, is the ethical line with outlets like Famitsu. I don't know if you've heard about that, Cade. Kotaku actually had a piece on it, but like a prominent journalist at Famitsu having a cameo in the game and then getting to vote on said game is like, that is an actual ethical issue, in my opinion. Like, if people want to scream about ethical problems, leave Jeff and Kojima alone.
Yeah,
seriously.
that's all.
But Famitsu really let me down with that because I couldn't believe it. I was like, this has got to be some GG nonsense or whatever. There's no way this is true. Yeah, it was true. And so I don't know. I'm not cool with that. But at the same time, end of the day, people, it's video games. And it's one award show. Like what games you want. The fact if Death Stranding wins, congratulate them and get over it. It's not that big of a deal.
People just need to remember that, Monster Hunter World won Best RPG last year. RPG.
I've heard that debated about whether it's an RPG or not.
Oh, remember last year too? They completely shut out. What was the game? Kingdom Come Deliverance, which that is the most RPG game of RPG games.
Yeah, it wasn't nominated for anything, and it's like that. If you want to actually argue RPG, and we know why it was shut out. Like, let's be real.
Oh, we know.
Well, it's interesting. Third best-selling game on Steam, aside from, I can't remember, I think it was like Counter-Strike when you still had to pay for it in something else. It's like
PUBG, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I think you find it's pronounced Poobg.
Excuse me, Poobg. But it's like, just do your research, people. Be outraged about the right things. But at the same time, I say that with a double face because I'm going to laugh at any drama that happens.
Oh,
what
sure.
were you going to say, James?
The important thing about the Game Awards to remember is that they did not award Best Game to What Remains of Edith Finch, and the BAFTAs did. And for that reason, the BAFTAs are a better award ceremony.
I heard World War ceremony. I was like,
this is a great world war we're having here. All right, folks.
All right.
I bet that award ceremony. Sorry, should I speak in an accent? Would that make you feel better?
Oh, please don't do the American accent. I want Cade to be able to come back.
I want to hear this.
My American accent's really good, all right?
Can I hear it?
I mean, I just did it. Like, do you want me to keep going?
We did not hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it? Okay.
No.
No, What Remains of Edith Finch is a really good game. That was terrible. That's the worst I've ever done.
I was like, that just sounded like your normal voice.
I didn't hear anything on that one.
No, that was well bad.
No, I remember when you totally fucked with me once because this is like back when I was in college and we had you on the show, and I remember because you jumped in and you started off in your American accent. I wasn't near my computer, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" I was like, I was confused. I was just like,
I think because also I was ill that week,
yeah, I
and
think
so
that,
my voice was like my lower as well.
yeah,
So I came into the chat like this, like.
yeah. It was. I was really freaked out because I was like, who the hell got this invite? Like, that was back on the Google Hangouts days. So, all right, good show. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we head out?
Do you guys want to talk about Half-Life?
Let's talk about Half-Life.
Sure,
You know what?
why
Let's
not? We
talk
got
about
time.
Half-Life for a
We got
moment.
time.
No, we talked about it last week.
Oh, did you?
No, we didn't.
Did we not?
No, the
No, we
news
didn't.
hadn't come
The
out
reveal
yet.
was on Thursday, right? So like,
Yeah, it was announced on Thursday.
so unless you're tripping.
Who did I talk about it with?
Well, we knew a Half-Life game was being announced back last Monday. We did not actually know about the game itself.
Well, I'll be the first one to say it. Half-Life is the first time that I've considered buying a VR headset outside of porn uses.
Yeah,
You're not wrong, but you shouldn't say it, Nick.
Yeah, I think this thing looks incredible. Like the physics of it specifically. Like I think we're kind of overlooking. Like obviously Valve is very big into physics and stuff, but like the one thing I kept focusing on was like the way you can like use your hands to like subtly brush over like a bucket on the shelf or something to like, push it out of the way, instead of like most VR games where if your hand collides with something, it just fucking flies. You just like you are literally just slamming stuff against walls. But like this is like very careful, thought out, and like it's very immersive.
No, you're absolutely right. It's got that immersive sim vibe. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, Kate, but like it looked extremely Dishonored-esque.
Yeah.
At different points, like extreme Dishonored art vibes. And this is the leap in quality for VR I've been waiting for in terms of, hey, this game. Did you listen to the documentary that Jeff Keighley ironically did with the different Valve developers? And he was talking, and they were talking about how, look, this couldn't have been done with keyboard and mouse because you would need half a keyboard just to have the controls for leaning around a corridor and aiming your gun carefully, another half a keyboard for, oh, I'm rummaging through shelves and literally knocking things aside, and I pick a bullet up and I can load that one bullet into my gun. Like that is the kind of thing that makes me excited for VR. And to hear that this is like a full 12 to 15 hour game, they've got me thinking about buying a $400, $500 headset for one game. They're doing something right.
And Valve doesn't fuck around. When they make a game, they make a game, and they make it like it's usually this is big, and especially Half-Life is always a very big next step for whatever is going on in gaming. Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, it's always huge. And the fact that they're doing it with VR means they're taking the next big step with VR, and a lot of people are going to look at it and they're going to go, "We're doing that," or "We are evolving on that," and it's going to make massive waves. And I think this is people don't quite understand how exciting this really is. Like you don't have to like Half-Life, but like what it means. And I'm not even like a Valve fanboy. I don't play on computer, but like
sure.
But you have to understand, like they don't fuck around. They have so much money. And they have so many smart people there. Like
exactly.
What this is going to do, if it's good, like it's going to be big, and it's probably going to change video games for the decade. And
exactly.
I'm not even being hyperbolic.
No, you're not, because NPD analyst Matt Piscatella, a friend of mine, great guy, helps with NPD information every single month on console sales and whatnot. He said, and I agree with him, if this doesn't push VR hardware, nothing will.
Yeah, totally.
Like this is
what else could?
Nothing else could, because this looks like a dream game.
Yeah.
Except it happens to be VR exclusive. And I can't wait personally. I'm already like figuring out with myself, like pleading with myself, trying to figure out how I'm going to get a headset to play it, because
I need to figure it out too.
I have to experience it. I have to play it in some fashion, in some form. And that kind of leap in technology, I think, is what hardcore enthusiast VR markets need. Because right now, a lot of people don't know this, even with Sony having sold around 3 million VR headsets, all of VR spending is a rounding error compared to the rest of the video game industry. Like, it's literally a slight mistake, a decimal point mistake on the spreadsheets. So they need something to push the whole industry forward. And this could do it. This really could do it.
I think it will, and especially Valve employees sound wildly excited about like this game. Like not even because like they're like, yeah, this is a good game. They're like, we're making something we haven't really made before, and we are using our creative juices in a way we haven't been allowed to in a long, long time. And there's been talk from these people, like on the record officially, like, yeah, this is probably going to bring more Half-Life. Like, we might see Half-Life 3 because of this.
Because think about it, dude. Think about it. For years and years, the issue and the reason that I freely admit I myself argued we'd never see Half-Life 3 is because gamer expectations got out of check. There's no way a Half-Life 3 would have lived up to people's expectations.
And they've kind of acknowledged that.
Except now, with a VR game coming out first, people's expectations will be grounded. They'll have a set point. They'll have a reference point to go to and say, oh, okay, a Half-Life 3 would come out a couple of years after this. And that regrounds everybody and gets people back on planet Earth to the point that a Half-Life 3 could be commercially viable and, more importantly, critically viable.
Half-Life 3 is trash. The only Valve 3 that we want is Left 4 Dead 3. They should scratch that. It should just be Left 4 Dead 4 or just Left 4 Dead. Like just skip
enough,
3.
You say that, Ivan. They actually said that this started as a Portal game. It started with them experimenting with like Portal 3 ideas, and they quickly realized it wasn't working, but it gave them some engine upgrades. And then they didn't name any other games after that, but they said, we experimented with some other games, we experimented with some other sequels. None of them really worked, but all of them gave us bigger advances in our engine. It helped us evolve Source 2 as a VR engine.
I would love to see what a Left 4 Dead game looks like in that engine.
Oh my god!
Like, I think it'd be pretty kick-ass.
It would
I don't
be
even
amazing.
really care for Left 4 Dead, but holy shit! Like, I think that engine, like, we've only seen like a minute and a half or something of very cut together gameplay. Like, I think when we see it in action, like really flowing, I hope the Game Awards actually has like maybe a little bit of actual like like a demo, like a very, very small demo, 5 minutes or whatever.
Sure.
I think that'd be great because the game's not far away, so like they must have something.
Right.
So I think I'm really excited. Like I said, I don't play on PC. I don't really have a Valve affection, but like the potential of it pushing the envelope in a massive way, and especially for linear games, like they're not like this is a hub world for Half-Life and you go here and you get your mission. It's like, no, it's still fucking Half-Life. This isn't like an evolution of Half-Life in a weird way. It's still Half-Life, but it's going to do cool things with technology, and if it's done right, and by all accounts seems to be like it's being done right, it's going to make waves in a way I don't think we've seen in a while.
I agree, Cade. And let me leave you with this idea. You bring up Left 4 Dead 3, and that's great, but keep in mind, this is the Source 2 engine. Titanfall ran on the Source engine.
Yeah.
So let me pitch something to you. Titanfall 3 in VR on the Source 2 engine.
Oh my god. Just give it to me. Put it in my veins. In my veins!
Alright, so we're going to do our outros here. As you guys are doing your outro, also tell me one thing you want to see from the Game Awards reveal-wise. Just one thing. So, do our outros. First of all, James, I know it's the latest for you. What you hope to see, and where can people find you?
Sorry, I genuinely fell asleep. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
One thing I want to see from the Game Awards: Bloodborne 2.
Bloodborne 2? Alright.
Yep.
Typical. Alright. And where can good people find you, sir?
The good people can find me on tweets at James_S Wilson. Come talk to me about wrestling. I love it. It was really good last night, and apparently it's really good right now on Monday Night Raw, and I'm missing it for this, and I'm going to go to bed now. I love you all,
man.
but I don't love all of you. Figure that one out.
All right. And Sam?
Yeah, so you can find me on Samuel Tolbert. That's TOLBERT. I'm happy to talk with you. You can find what I write on Windows Central, Android Central, and iMore.
All right. And Nick?
Everyone can find me shitposting on Twitter at Undead3XVI. posting articles on lordsofgaming.net. And yeah, good time. And my edibles kicked in. I can barely form a coherent sentence.
All right, and Sam?
You mean Cade?
You mean
no.
Cade?
No, I was skipping Cade. He doesn't get to leave.
Oh, great. Fucking stuck here.
All right, Cade, where can the good people find you first?
You can find me on Twitter at Cade_Onder, CADE_ONDER, and on GameZone.com, news, reviews, bullshit. You want my my pick for Game Awards too?
What game do you want to like? What do you want to see reveal-wise from the Game Awards?
Oh, I never actually ended up playing it, but I was like super shocked last year when they showed off Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So if they could have like a reveal of that nature where you're like no one's expecting it and it's not like super like high caliber, you know what I mean? But like people are like, I want that. Something really out there, but like I'm into this. I
Those
don't have
the coolest reveals. The coolest reveals are the ones that no one sees.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
any way, shape, or form. Absolutely.
Yeah. So something of that nature. I can't think off the top of my head what that would be, but something like that. Or if I had to really give a concrete answer, it'd be cool if Sony was like, look, the PlayStation 5 exists. We're not going to say anything about it right here, but we're going to give you a date of when you can expect to hear more, and it'll be a press conference, a live stream. Tune in on this day. But I don't think that'll happen because that's probably going to be like February, like they did for PS4. So
almost, which is kind of amusing now that Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed to May.
Yeah.
But that's another conversation.
Yeah.
For my game, I could be boring, but you know what? Okay, that Warner Brothers Montreal Batman game.
Yeah,
we know it exists. Stop jerking us around. We have literally seen pictures from the wrap party at the studio. That game is done. Knock it off. Come on, show it to us.
Nope.
Nick, shut up.
I'm going to go for the perfect 2s of 3s. 2 games that I need to see at the Game Awards is I need a new Baldur's Gate 3 trailer, baby, and I also need Banjo 3. Either one of those will be appreciated.
You know what? I would laugh at you, but Cade, you need to understand that this man willed Baldur's Gate 3 into existence. I fear his power now when it comes to Baldur's Gate.
But
yeah.
It came at the cost of it being a Google Stadia exclusive, right? That's what
No, it's coming to PC at launch as well.
There you go. All right.
See, this is the best part is they made fun of me. My E3 2019 prediction show. I'm like, Baldur's Gate 3 will get revealed at E3, and everyone laughed at me for a solid minute, and I was the only person.
Now, this wasn't like a thing like you predicted every year, right? You were just like confident.
No.
The only person who did that was James. James did that with Beyond Good and Evil 2. He said Beyond Good and Evil every single year for like every single event, and then it actually happened. So
there's powerful, weird energy around this podcast. I have to say, powerful, weird energy.
Like what was it? What was it last year's E3 with Bethesda? Literally everything I said was right.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Except
for Doom, which you got Doom wrong, and I got that right because that was the one thing you and I disagreed on.
Guys, what was it? Last year I said a new Fallout game will come out in 2018. I said that in March. Yeah, and it happened.
That's pretty baller.
Well, and the only thing the only reason why I went off of it was because of Fallout 4 kept getting official updates and patches, and they were adding dumb things to the main game, like backpacks and stuff, and I was like, why are they doing this? But yeah, these are systems that are in Fallout 76, so that's just kind of how it is. We're on the pulse of the gaming network.
Just look at it this way. Combined, we have a 98% more accurate rating in our predictions than Tie Ducks.
Boom.
Yeah.
There it
for
is.
me, the one thing I want to see a trailer for Darksiders 4. Not Genesis, but Darksiders 4.
You'll get Genesis and you'll like it.
I don't want to play Genesis.
I thought that game came out already.
It's almost out.
It comes out on PC and Stadia in 10 days. It comes out on the consoles in February next year.
I pray to God this is not the Strife game. I really hope it's not.
It won't be. I'm telling you, it won't be, dude.
I would be extremely disappointed. It's like, yeah, this is how we introed him. Now Darksiders 4 will be all 4 of them, and you get to play as any of them. I'm like, no, I want Strife to have his own game first. Like, I've been literally waiting for this man whenever he wasn't called Strife.
I've never played this series, so I know nothing about what you're talking about.
Darksiders is the funniest series of all time to me.
Really?
Like, so when the first game came out, it got I imagine this is how it went. I imagine this is how the story went. They said, "Oh well, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to announce the game. Oh no, so we're gonna announce the game. Like, what's a popular game series right now? It's like, oh well, let's make a game around like not God of War. Let's do like Legend of Zelda, but for like adults. Let's let that be the focus." And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. So you make the game, and it's a Legend of Zelda style. Like, you go to a temple, you get a new weapon, you spam the weapon the whole time, you use the final weapon to beat the boss, yada yada yada. You get new stuff because of it, and all that crap. They got slaughtered by God of War. God of War destroyed them, and so they were like, okay, we're gonna make a new game. It's like, okay, what should we focus this one on this time? Like, we still have our own style, naturally. We still have our own style. But what do we put it around? It's like, well, let's do the game that beat us. Let's make it like God of War. Like, let's have, like, more scalability, like, bigger fights, and all that kind of stuff. Let's do that. That'd be great. Or like, make them more like a hack and slash beat 'em up kind of focus. And it's like, oh, yeah, let's do that. That'd be great. So they do that instead. Just get destroyed. But the game that destroyed them that time was Dark Souls 2.
Nice.
And so they were like, okay, then THQ went under, life moves on, yada, yada, yada. So all that stuff happens, and they said, okay, they come back under Gunfire Games. Gunfire Games is like, okay, how do we base it? What do we base it around this time? It's like, okay, let's base it around the game that beat us this time. Let's make it like Dark Souls.
Oh, God.
So they made the game like Dark Souls. And every game's different. Like,
that's respectable, I guess.
But, like, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. Like, they're
I've never heard bad
games.
things about them, yeah.
Like, it's whichever game you start with will likely be your favorite. That's how it works. But it's a great series. I've enjoyed playing the crap out of it. Like, it's one of those guilty pleasure games that I really enjoy playing. Like, last year, I got sick during Christmas Eve. I just sat down, and they just released the classic gameplay version for it, so it's a little less like Dark Souls, but it's very well done. I just basically played that the entire time. I played it all Christmas Eve until morning, and it was a great Christmas Eve for being sick. So,
I'll have to check it out.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap things up. Get out of here. We're late for everybody, so. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been the Multiverse Show, episode 145, greatest show on Mondays. And thank you, Cade, for coming out again. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
And we're out of here.